Hey everybody, welcome to a brand new episode. Here shortly, we're gonna have the champ in the building himself. Here we go. Champ, how you doing today?
Hey man, I'm
Good. Thank you for finding the time today. So for those that don't know, you have a upcoming fight here on March the 3rd, right? And it's in your hometown?
Yes, sir.
And that's why I decided to wear the hat. Is this your 27th fight?
Yes.
Absolutely. Now, can you, for those that don't know a little bit about your career, can you tell us a little bit about your boxing career and kind of your background and how it all started, if you don't mind?
I started boxing in Armenia when I was 13 years old. Then I did a lot of fights over there. Then I moved to Canada with my family to live in 2011. I was 16 years old and I continued here. I became a national Golden Gloves champion and then continued fighting here. I represented Canada in few international competitions. And then after that, I was 18 years old. I turned professional.
32. So you have a very impressive record overall. I know your amateur record, 108 wins with 1 defeat. That's impressive. That's impressive. Now your professional record right now, you're 26 with 20 knockouts, right?
Yeah.
Would you say that in every fight, is there any pressure because of the percentage of knockouts? Do you carry that pressure? Like everyone's going to expect you to knock every opponent out. Do you carry that weight?
It feels nice when I knock people out. It's the best feeling during the fight, especially when a fight, it gets tough during the fight. And then you hit the guy and you see he's down, like it's the best feeling. But I think to knock my opponents out is it's a mental game. But during the fight, I never think of, oh, I'm going to throw this punch and I'll knock him out. It's not the pressure for me and for my record, but everything is going to be like, with the plan, I box, and when the knockout is gonna come.
Tell us a little bit about your training camp. Because you're about 6 weeks away. What are you doing right now during training? How does the training camp look for you?
The training camp is going great. I've been training because my last fight was in last June. So it's been like 6 months. I haven't fought, but now everything is going back to normal. I have 4 fights planned already this year in 2020. And
Nice.
I'm gonna fight now in March. I've been training since September. I've been in the gym every day, twice a day, and we're working hard to fight earlier in December, but then it got postponed. But now we're back on track, and March 3rd, we are in the best shape that I've ever been in a long time. And looking forward to win this fight and start the year fresh.
Now it's at the Montreal Casino, which is your hometown. Is this your very first professional fight in your hometown?
I've been fighting here almost all my career. I fought in USA, in Vegas, LA twice. But all my career was here in Montreal. It's a home here for me. I have a lot of fans here supporting me. And I feel like home here.
Is there, because you just mentioned it, you fought in California, you fought in the States. Is there more pressure when you fight at home? Do you feel like there's more pressure because you have a bigger fan base? You got your family in the background? Is there any, could that?
When I fight, I never think about that. I plug it in here. I just go to war and I'm going to do my job. Even it's going to be 1,000 people or 10,000 people. I never ever think about like people looking at me from the arena. I just see my opponent to do my job and the ring.
As far as your boxing style, what would you consider yourself? What type of style of boxer do you consider yourself?
Everybody told me I'm a technician, but like me, I consider myself like they tell me I'm a smart fighter. I have a good boxing IQ, but I try to work on everything. To reach a level and stay in that level, you have to be a full base boxer. Like you can't just be a warrior and beat like top guys. You have to work on everything. You have to try to be powerful. You have to try to be like, if he's the time, you have to do war. You have to know how to box. But everybody, what they tell me, I'm a smart boxer. Like that's my style. Like,
Stuff. With a big career and a lot of fights on the amateur side, and now that you switched over to pro for a couple of years now, your boxing, IQ and the way you have how do you learn from that in each fight? As you mentioned that you got 4 fights coming up, what's the end goal as far as, is there any plans on fighting a big fight soon?
But yeah, I already got big offers for world title fights because my record is there. The rankings are up. I've been number 1 in WBO 2 years ago, but my team, we thought that it's not the right time to fight. At that time, it was Billy Joe Saunders, the champion. I couldn't fight the world title, but I was like 23, 20. Not the age, it's just we had to be ready, like physically, because we have a goal to become a champion and stay a champion, not to go for money and for a fight like that you don't need at that certain time. But now this year, we are planned to do good fights. We're gonna step up the level. My next opponent, he has 17 wins with 16 by knockout. He's a Mexican. He's a good boxer. He's a young guy, 23, 24 years old. But I'm not gonna give him the chance. I don't want to be. I'm not an arrogant person, but that's the goal. You have to be focused on that, and that's it. After that, we're gonna look something in May to fight here again. And then we're gonna start in fall, like September and December. Maybe end of the year we're gonna do a big fight. We are ready in two, 3 fights. We'll be ready for world title fight.
I want to go back on what you said, and that's very important, especially for your team. You mentioned that you had the opportunity to fight Billy Joe at the time, career-wise. And it's smart for you to say, hey, you know what, let me be prepared so that I can eat defending the title as you move up. And so now you're at that level. I feel how is it important? Because a lot of boxers probably will think the money fight and think the opportunity. How did you separate that? How did you decide that? Because that doesn't come easy, especially being so competitive.
It was nice. I was happy. I was ranked number 1 in WBO, fight the top fights. But I was comparing myself right now, strong-wise, how strong I am, strength-wise, the more mature-wise. Looking 3 years ago when I was number 1 and right now where I am. Yeah, I lost 2 years with the COVID too. If COVID wasn't there, it's like he put us back 1.5 years. But it happens. But where I am right now, I'm physically wise, I'm stronger, mentally, and more experienced. We're doing a great job in the trainings. We have a great team, a lot of good boxers in my gym. We're putting that work to be ready this year.
Now, you are considered one of the new generations of up and coming fights, right? Do you feel like there's any pressure now that you're the newer generation coming up in that division? Because your division is very stacked. And for those that don't know,
yes,
you got Canelo, you got the Charlo brothers, and everyone's in that division that's very competitive. What would you say for those that are watching? What separates you from that group? Whenever we look at your fights, what should we expect and what should we?
Now, the pressure wise, yes, I do have a bit of pressure, but during the fights, I never think about any pressure. But yes, like you mentioned, there is a bit of pressure because where I am right now, 26 fights, 20 knockouts and getting the rankings there. And that soon this year I'll fight for a big fight. There is a pressure each fight on me because I know people are expecting me to see this guy, what's he's gonna do in the big fight for a world title, when he's gonna become a champion, when are you fighting for the world title? They always ask me. But that's the pressure. I can't let to lose any fight. But it's a pressure, but it's a good way, in a good way. It gives me motivation. Let's say during the fight, you are losing a round or something is becoming a tough. You can't lose. I won 26 fights. Lose that.
And your corner, how long have you had your team and your trainer in your corner?
What? Sorry.
How many years have you had your team with you?
Been 3 years. Because I was with other coach and team before, but now we switched. Now I have one of the best trainers in the world, Mark Ramsey. So he's very professional, experienced. He had world champions David Lumio, Alvarez. Now he has Beterbiev, and we have many young up and coming undefeated fighters. It's going great. He's a good coach. He puts a lot of time on us. He's very motivated to train us. So we developing every day, every training. We are not just doing pads for a lot of fighters they do with their coaches. We work on our mistakes, techniques. We get better, for the future fights. Not just we are not doing just training camp for a fight. We are always training to develop and get better. I feel with my team, I feel I'm still amateur. The amateurs, when you are new, you are learning, getting the experience. With my coach, I feel that way because he tells your mistakes. He tells your if coach tells you always good things, even Mayweather once said, you can't be perfect enough. You have to always work to make more perfect your perfect.
Something that I want to highlight as well is on YouTube, you have your documentary. You have a very interesting background in that documentary. It's a 26-minute video. I definitely recommend everyone to check it out on your YouTube page. When you were doing that documentary, from where you were at that time to now, How do you feel? There's a big difference. There's a more, you got more record, more wins in your belt. How does that feel?
Yeah, that's like, it should be like 7 years ago,
Super good.
6 years ago. So
Mhm.
it's a lot of change. The experience change, more fights. But now I'm feeling like 100 times more ready, more strong, more experienced. It's the time talks like always. You learn with the time, even in life, it's like that.
Kind of switching gears here. When you first started, what was the most important thing you had to adjust as far as a professional? For those that are one day thinking of being a professional, what would be a piece of advice that you can give them?
Nowadays, a lot of young guys, they want to just turn pro right away to say, oh, I'm a professional boxer or professional. It became like a style. But me, I turned when I was 18. I was young, but I had the experience. And in that time, I was like, my coaches told me that I'm ready to become a young star. So we decided, and it went. I was ready. I had the skills, the talent to beat older guys. It was good. But what I suggest, it's hard. Like in pro, you lose once, like promoters or twice. Promoters, they don't look the same way. In professional, it's a bit hard. It's different nowadays. It's more like, but in amateurs, like you can lose fights and it doesn't matter. Like it's experience. I would suggest them to train always and train all the time to get better in the skills, experience, sparring, and do as many fights as they can. Like a lot of competition to get that fights in, And when they feel mature, they can, because professional is different. It's tough. Like it's not with the headgear, bigger gloves. It's 10 ounce gloves. Every punch you get, like it hurts your bones. Like, even when I punch someone in the head, I feel his bones like on my knuckles. It's different. It's
The
tough.
different, yeah, you can hear it when, especially, what is, before I let you go, I'm going to ask you some quick fire questions. Okay. Let's see. Before you step in the ring, are you superstitious? Do you have a ritual? Like the day of is there something you do every fight, pre-fight?
Not actually. I just try to rest as much as I can,
Mhm.
but I'm always very anxious to the time to pass, so I go to the fight place. I'm excited. It's a bit, you have a bit of butterflies in your stomach, but like I'm not that type of fighter that I stress too much. So I don't even think until I put my gloves on. I don't think I'm going from the dressing room to the fights. But once I put the gloves, it switches. Like I become numb. Like I love that moment. It's like a drug.
What is, when you're working out right now, what is one song that you listen to while you work out?
When we train, we don't listen songs. Like my coach, they don't let me. But I like music and I like Tupac. I like all kinds, Armenian songs, anything that is gonna like pump me up.
What is a fight that you want to see this year happen
Like in boxing world or with me?
in boxing? Yes. If you could sit in ringside and you want to watch as a fan, if you want to see a fight take place, which one would it be?
It's tough. But nowadays because of the COVID and money wise, they start making good fights. But nowadays it's tough because Canelo, he has all the belts. There is no fighter that I really want Canelo to fight. I don't see any top fighter. But it would be nice to watch Canelo with Benavidez because they are my weight and both they are good. It's going to be interesting. Two Mexicans, both of them, they are confident. It will be nice to see. But I think Canelo, he beats them.
Is there anyone that personally you want to have this fight happen soon? Could you say, I know there's talks, but are you able to say who you want to match up with this year? Is there someone in particular?
No, I'm not that type of guy like to call people out and this, but like whatever I led that with my manager, my team, my coach. I led that in their hands because I fully trust them. They are not gonna throw me to someone that's gonna walk through me. But we're gonna do whatever is the smart and financially and for my career in that right time to win that fight and so I become a champ. Anybody in this weight who will have a belt at that time or it will be vacant, I'll be ready to up and fight for that.
And what is one lesson that boxing has taught you that everyone in the sport that's going to join should take advantage of, should learn at one point in their life?
Of being tough in life, like not tough, but like, to whatever times comes, like hard, tougher times, that you have to be strong and step up and go through that situation good and not to stress it. It's okay in life because in boxing it happened with me a lot of tough times it happened. So it's just a period of time. You shouldn't, yeah, you worry, but you have to be strong to go through it. And what door is gonna close, another door like in next few months is gonna open.
Take your time with it.
Because I changed teams, I had the bad situations. I don't want to talk about it now, but
Yeah.
the thing is, I had ups and I was like disappointed from boxing, even like all this sucks. But then it's something big and better. It happens, so you shouldn't worry. Like,
Stay patient.
you are a good person, good things will come if something closes.
That's very well said. And then finally, is there any words for your fans out there that you want to tell them?
Yeah, sure. I want to thank everybody who supports me always, who has my back, who believes in me that I'll be a world champion soon. And that's it. Let's have my back and I'll become a champion.
Is there any sponsorships you want to give a shout out to, or your team out there?
I have a few sponsors. I want to give a shout out to my team, my manager, I have the Tiger management. They're doing a hell of a job. My coach, we have the best team. For me, they are very professional and one of the best team in the world. And that's it. I want to thank my sponsors for following up with me for my career.
Mhm.
And that's it. I'm just thankful.
And is there a way that we could watch the fight on March the 3rd?
Yeah, there is I think it's not sure. It will be maybe on national TV, on TVA Sports, and also, but that I don't know how it's gonna go through internationally. I don't
Okay.
think, but there is a punchingrace.com. It's our team's TV. It's free, but it's like subscribing punchingrace.com. It's gonna be there live, all the fights, and the people
Yeah.
they can watch.
And Champ, one last thing, where can everyone follow you?
They can follow me on Instagram on this page. I have a Facebook page too with my name Erik, and on Twitter
As well.
Nowadays you have to be in social media because
One of the hardest days for me.
when I just came to Canada, my coaches, they were old school. They were like, "Oh, guys, get out of this new generation phones. Don't post your life. Don't post your videos too much." But nowadays, if you don't I don't like doing it too much. Like, I don't do it. My marketing people, like friends, family, they tell me, "Oh, you gotta put more stories so people they follow you." That's how you get followers. And nowadays, you see Jake Paul, we see he has 2 fights and he made 45 million.
It's the power of internet. Champ, I want to thank you. I know you got to go back to reality now. I thank you so much for your time, and we look forward for your fights. And as time goes, please let us know how the journey is, and we're all going to be watching and rooting for you. Okay?
Thank you, man. I really appreciate it I hope we'll do it again, and
Absolutely.
thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Take care, Champ.